Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. Super hot here in Long Island, New York. It's about 85 degrees and it's only like 10 o'clock. I've been dying to work on this project. I've been so overwhelmed with working on my John Deere LT160 and I've been having engine problems with that one. So I'm gonna walk away from that a little bit and then work on what I've wanted to work on since I got it, but I had so many projects beforehand that I had to take care of before I could touch this one. So this is a Craftsman T Series 1600. It's my first T Series I've ever gotten. You guys remember the story behind that. I had a few episodes on a subscriber giving it to me, in turn fixing his, which I did, and you probably saw. Did a little news. So this is my free payment for fixing his mower. Is his old mower that he blew the apparently he blew the cylinder head, is what I'm thinking. I did boroscope it. Like I told you, the cylinder head is busted on this tractor. Here, let me show you. As you can see here, this is the cylinder head, and it has a huge gaping hole there. I want to try and see if the other end of the valve is stuck where the piston is. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take this whole thing apart. Wow, okay. So there it is. There's the valve. I see it. See, it's sitting right there. So it's not where the piston is. That's good news. I think we could just change the head and we're good to go. Before I was thinking about removing the entire engine, taking the piston out to find that valve, but that's the other end of the valve right there, right here. Here's the valve. It's just sitting there. So it's not in a place where I have to worry about it. So that's great news. You wouldn't be able to find that unless you had a boroscope. And the valve is stuck inside is broken and stuck inside the head. So, I mean, it's a 19 horsepower single cylinder Briggs. It looks okay. It doesn't appear to have any damage on the cylinder, right? Or the piston, but the cylinder head is busted. I think I have another cylinder head exactly like it, and I'll simply swap it out. I may need a head gasket though, which I don't have. So we'll take that one off, inspect the piston, as well as see if I could salvage the gasket. But usually those engines, there's a very thin area there where it always blows, the head gasket. So I doubt it'll be in good shape. I may have to order one and then put it in. So today we'll just remove it and inspect it. In the meantime, as you saw from a recent episode, I got this for free. Free! That's right, free. And apparently, what seems like to me is that that's a good engine. And Mowers and Blowers! No front wheels. I think it's a man. Nothing going on. The engine wheels. Scores! Just at all, okay? They're missing quite often. I don't know why. Let's try this first, see if it's... Did? And it. I mean, it works. For trannies, if all else fails on the LT160, I want to first put another carburetor on there to see if it runs right, and I want to swap out the cylinder head also with the other 15 horsepower donor engine that I had, just to rule it out. You remember from that making one color command out of two? I'm always employed. Put the disconnect side down. I can hear some stuff. Wasn't pulling hard enough. Camshaft right there side. The one has aluminum tread, but interior. Here's the 15 horsepower one for the pieces from the. Look at this. Look at the condition of the stator, man. So we're just gonna steal. All right. Craftsman round strap. I put the. I need the protection as possible. And the engine that I just. This in there. I think, as you can see, the diameter. Or. It needs the deck on there. Yeah. Never had the. Zero charge. This is the original solenoid without the vacuum. This is the wipe to fit, and as you can see, get it going so that this wouldn't dangle, and then turn this. Try to bend it back. Wing, or do you? And then disengage it. Remember that the damage on the sleeve inside was a little nick, and I says, that's not going to affect anything. Maybe that does affect something. So I'm considering, if the new cylinder head doesn't work, or the new carburetor doesn't work and it still runs like crap, I might have to use the 15 horsepower engine block, swap all the insides to that engine block, drill out the 2 stator holes, which has 2 broken bolts in there, but actually, you can hold the stator with just 2 bolts instead of 4. We'll see what happens. But that's later on down the line, after I try to get the T1600 going. In the meantime, this is sitting here waiting for me to get to the LT160, and it's an eyesore for sure. But it looks like this tractor, I did some research, is an LT4000. It actually had the hood like the Blue Bayou, you know, the taller one. But I don't have a spare taller one. I thought instead of just taking the engine and throwing the rest of it out, I might try to make this a hauler and take parts from the Dayton and put it on this one. Because this is a much better machine than the Dayton. The Dayton has transmission problems. Remember, I fixed the transmission, replaced it. I fabricated a shifter. I fabricated the brakes. I did all that, and it doesn't really run very well. The engine runs pretty good though. So what I'm thinking is maybe take that Dayton engine and putting it on this frame. I've got an extra seat, and I've got this Craftsman 2 hood, which is a little bit more profile than the stock one, but I think it'll fit. I'm just going to put it on here at least to cover it from water, the engine, you know. I have a feeling that these brackets over here are going to get in the way, but it does have the 2 slits. Oh, shoot. Almost got my foot. Why doesn't that hook on? So strange. Yep. It does appear that so there's 2 different kinds of brackets on here. It's got the side bracket, and it won't use the other bracket, but maybe this will work actually. Well, I mean, better than nothing, right? Start off by taking this hood off. These newer model T1600s, you can't take the entire hood off because there's no disconnect of the lights. You gotta just like sit it over to the side. So yeah, you gotta just keep the hood on the right side like that. Anyway, so here's the head, and this is the issue that I think is preventing this mower from going anywhere. Cylinder head was busted. The original owner tried to adjust the valves, whatever he did. The next thing he did, he started it and this happened. So he probably didn't do the valves right, or he did it on the exhaust stroke as opposed to the compression stroke, and that could probably cause that. We don't know if there's any internal problems in there, but I'm going to start off by removing this head. You can't remove this head without taking off some other stuff, such as probably the intake manifold to the carburetor, the linkages, and of course the top engine cover. Incidentally, I went to the back of my shed and I found a, where is it? Oh, here it is. I found a cylinder head. Being this is a 19 horsepower one, you look on the bottom here and you have this crisscross structure to this part, right? The 17 and under horsepower heads do not have this. It's just that pipe there. It didn't have the structural reinforced steel thing here, the X. So I know that this is for a higher horsepower. This one came off of a, you guys see that or not? It says model 31C707. Actually, 31C707 seems like an older model. But either way, whatever. This is a one I took off of another machine, whatever, but as you can see where it always blows, it's starting to be deteriorated there, so there's no way I can use this. I removed all the head bolts, the surrounding bracket that was blocking me from getting the head bolts off. I had to remove the intake of the carburetors, it's just hanging loose, and also the exhaust. Camera's far away from you in the garage because it's so hot that the phone will stop working because it's so hot. So I removed it all. Let's see if it just pops off without killing the gasket. I'm pretty sure the gasket's busted. Anyway, look, this is the exhaust rod, push rod. The exhaust is always steel because it gets super hot. The intake one is aluminum and it looks straight, not damaged. God.
Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
That's trashed. And unfortunately, the piston's also damaged. Actually, the gasket doesn't seem too bad. I might have saved it. Bad at all. Yeah, this is the gasket part right here, and it looks good. It's really good. Maybe I'll try to put some silicone here and there, and this gasket would be all right. Because the only part that you really care about is this part right here, and that part looks new. I don't know, maybe. If I have time, I'll probably order one. So here you go, close up. Probably not. valve is just sitting right there. And this head is Dunsky. As you can see, look at this. Look at the cylinder head. It has the crisscross X. Let me get the other one, compare. As you can see, we have an identical cylinder head. This is exactly the same one. The X. Of course, this one's good. So look, we do have that problem though. That is pretty deep.
That's what she said.
If it wasn't so deep, I would say it's okay to use. But that's pretty deep. Actually, you could technically use it because all it does is just deflect fire somewhere else, but it's, I think if I grinded that down to be smooth, it would be okay. What do you guys think? You guys think I should change that piston, or is that still okay to use? I would say it's still okay to use. As long as you grind it down, this piece sticking out. Doesn't appear to be any other damage. I would be weary about damage on the inside if the rods were bent. If the rods were bent, I would say something's up with the camshaft. But because they're nice and straight, I would think it's only this. Let's check the bore condition. Just going to brush this off so that we don't have any metal fibers going into the bore. This is pretty deep, but I don't know. I think they would be all right, actually. Now, let's check out the bore. Smooth, man. Yep. Smooth bore. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's good news. So I don't know. I'm inclined to just leave the piston the way it is. It's got a dent in it. You know, it doesn't prevent what a piston is designed for. The only thing that could get in the way of the valves and the spark plug is that little piece of aluminum sticking out from the divot. Other than that, it should still run. There's no hole. If there was a hole, then that's a different story. But there ain't no hole. If I just grinded that down, I think it'd be all right. Saved me a lot of work because to change a piston, got to break the whole thing in half, you know what I mean? Disconnect the connecting rod, take out the camshaft, take out the ends of the connecting rod, push it out, get a ring compressor tool, put it in, put it back on the pin again, shove the new one in there. I mean, for what? This is okay. I have to grind that though. And then I have to order a gasket. Well, maybe I should try to put it in today. I don't know. So check it out. I grinded and polished it. So this is what it looks like now. Let me get you in there. Yeah. So you have the divots, and it's now flat. Nothing's sticking out, right? And I was thinking about putting JB weld in there and then smoothing it out flat. But honestly, that might just cause problems because JB weld could break off in a few years with the motion and then do something to the bore or the valves. If I just keep this the way it is, this is like a Hemi. That's the way a Hemi works, right? that the piston surface is shaped differently so that the exhaust, not the exhaust, the combustion, the flame, the explosion goes into pockets and therefore pushes it down better. You know what I mean? That's the logic behind a Hemi. So, you know, that's an unintended homemade Hemi. So I'm just going to try it. I don't think that's going to affect the way it performs at all, because it's just a divot, that's all. If there was a hole, that's a different story, but it's not. And so I think this is just fine. It's cleaned up really nice. All I need is a head gasket. I'm going to order one. And this is how I cleaned up the surfaces to the head as well. As you can see, the valves are in excellent condition, seated properly. I used 2 fingers to try to turn it, and I cannot. Which tells you that they're seated really nicely. When I get the head gasket, I'll mount it, put it on, tighten the head bolts to, so it's 220 inch-pounds, 18.3 foot-pounds. I know that by heart because I've done it so many times. It's not hard. I think we can get this going. Put the push rods in there, the head gasket, put the head back on, put the head bolts back in, torque it to spec, replace the intake manifold of the carburetor, put the muffler back on, put the cover of the engine back on, and it should run. So I'm gonna order a head gasket for this cylinder head. That's it. That's all I need. Put the head bolts back on, should be good. I don't feel anything wrong with this engine other than needing a new cylinder head. And if we run into something else, we'll fix it. Because I know how. Hopefully. I'm going to order the head gasket now. We'll come back to you when I get it. Head, valves, gaskets. Oh, shit! Oh, that's great! I got that on video!
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.